Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete, certified high performance coach. Well, my podcast with Dave Griffith was delayed. We had a technical challenge, but it didn't stop us from delivering content to you, delivering information that'll help you. I've got a gift for you at the end of this podcast. So I'm going to talk about a concept that is of global implication. So if you're a local business and you want to understand what is this global mindset, why is it important that you recognize the global opportunity that's before us? Well, let me bring up the first slide. Okay. So people need to know, like, and trust you online. That is not going to ever change. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Trust is probably the most important part of that, because if you don't trust somebody, you're not going to do business with them. However, when Dale Carnegie wrote this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, it wasn't a global economy that it is here. There wasn't what we're seeing with social media and an online world. How many people are connected around the globe? We didn't even have the internet back when he started 75 plus years ago. But his principles do stand. They're timeless principles. So when you think of your business, and I was just talking to Dave as we were trying to figure it out, but didn't work out. But I'll go to his desktop in Kennesaw, where he's a hub of businesses where businesses come to rent, to work, to hang out, to be together, to build relationships, to connect. Those are the kind of things that are hubs. They're business hubs. And if you're trying to do business by yourself and you don't recognize it's a team sport, you're going to work 100 times harder. So what we do here is we want to show you the opportunity of a global mindset. And what we mean by that is, that's okay. There's five high performance habits. These are proven from the book High Performance Habit by Brendon Burchard, who certified me as a high performance coach. There's 5. Clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence, as you see on the screen. Get his book. It's a classic. It's a foundational type book. It's like How to Win Friends and Influence People, but it's driven by the habits we have to master, have to grow, have to get better at. Because when you have clarity in what you're doing, you have a clear vision of your future. So distractions and consumption don't take you off course. It's easy to get distracted when you don't have a clear path to where you want to go. That means really getting clear about your goals, clear about what you want to do. So if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is scroll your social media or check your email, that's a distraction. That's a consumption habit. That won't get you to be a high performer in whatever you're doing. So look at your world from these 5 habits. You establish these 5 habits, you build the strongest foundation for you to be the best that you can be. And it never stops. You keep getting better. But you do it strategically. You do it with a plan. Because when you are clear, and let's say you're clear, like I have gotten clear in the last 3 years by journaling, by my morning routine, by writing out my goals, by having a 1 year, 3 year, by knowing what I'm going to do each day. It's given me energy. And when you look at energy is both mental and physical. Let's talk about the mental. when you're scrolling up to 3 hours of social media each day, which is the average up to, I don't know, it can be from 1 to 3. What you're doing is consuming other people's lives. But here's the important thing to remember. You are looking at other people's lives and you have to decide, do I like it? Do I comment on it? Do I share it? That's a judgment. So you're always making these mental judgments each day, each time. And the average when you do those kind of 2 to 3 hours, it's 1,000 judgments that you're making. That's why you see in today's world, people just losing it because emotionally they're drained. Emotionally, they're worn out. So they yell and scream and they throw things and they have temper tantrums because they haven't managed their emotions like they could. So I've been off of social media for over 3 years. And my mental clarity is the best it's ever been in my life. And my mental energy is the best it's ever been in my life. Because I am aware of the distractions. I'm aware of the consumption model. I don't do those kind of things. I'm more clear. My clarity is so much better. My focus is so much better. So the mental part of your energy is so important to your physical part of your energy. Because if you're worn out from consuming other people's life, if you're distracted during the day and you're working 10 times harder mentally, you're physically spent. So what do? You come home and you veg. You veg because you're so worn out mentally that physically, instead of walking, you just veg in front of the TV. And you, what do you call it? It's not stream, it's called binge. You binge because I just gotta get away. I just gotta shut it down. Well, that's what you're attempting to do. But if you have the kind of energy, morning routine, I have a morning routine every single morning. I drink my water. That starts my day. I journal. I start writing. What did I learn from the previous day? What am I grateful for? What am I looking forward to today? What if I have to kind of journal out an idea? I'll write it out because we have between 12 and 60,000, 12 and I think it's 60,000 thoughts that go through our head every day. That's a lot of clutter up here. And if we can't get clear by writing it out, we have so much clutter. We do have mental fatigue. I wear the same thing every day, so I don't have to think about it. Except today, instead of red, I wore purple. And somebody noticed it in my rotary because I do the same thing, so I don't want to think about it. I just want to do it. Wear the same thing. I mean, I do wash it. But the whole thing is I'm not sitting in front of the closet. What do I wear? This, or this? Again, mental fatigue. You're going through making choices. And if you can minimize, look at Stephen Jobs when he was alive. Black turtleneck, black pants, and I don't know, black shoes, I think. But that's what he wore. He didn't want to have to think about it. He wanted to save his energy for his creativity. And so you have that opportunity. Save your energy for what counts, what will move the needle, what will put you in that creative mindset to create. And that's where absolute energy comes from, creating. Then courage. Have you ever had this situation like you were thinking about saying something, you were almost going to raise your hand and ask a question, but you're thinking, that might be a dumb question. Yeah, I used to have that. But you know what? If you just do it, you build up that muscle. So even though you may make a fool of yourself the first couple times, you can't go through awkward to get better at something. It doesn't work that way. Living in your comfort zone will not get you to a higher level. We need to be challenged. We need to be growing. And our growth comes from the fear. Let's say it's on one shoulder. You're going to allow your fear to grow. Could be a fear of being on a podcast. Could be a fear to speaking live at one of our live events. Public speaking is the second biggest fear to dying. I think being on a podcast is the third, because I hear people say, that's not my thing. Code for, I'm afraid. I'm afraid I might say something wrong. And I'll say, I don't have a 60 minutes type podcast. I'm not trying to gotcha. All I'm trying to do is share your story with the world. Share where I can connect you to people, where I can help you. But if I don't know your story, I'm not a mind reader. Never was, never planned to be. I'll leave that to my mind reader. But the point is courage, working on that courage. And then productivity. It's amazing. I talk to my local people that are spending so much time at say a BNI meeting. BNI was a great thing and still is to build relationship, but the time element is off the chain, counterproductive. You might think sitting there for 3 hours listening to everybody's pitch is a time well spent. It isn't, because we're now global. We're now have a mindset. You can spend that time creating content. You can spend that time interviewing people. You can spend that time being on a podcast. So if you want your story out there, you don't have to spend all the time going through traffic reports and trying to do all these one-on-ones that aren't 10 minutes, they're 1 hour. And sometimes they're longer because, hey, we like getting with people, but your time is critical. You got to protect it. A minute today is like 5 years ago. That's how AI is changing this world. It's rapid and it's coming so fast, so quick. So if you say, I'll get to it, you're going to be missing a lot of opportunity. So when it comes to your productivity habit, are you doing hour meetings? Could you do them in 10 minutes? I heard Elon Musk gets them done in 5 minutes. And he's walked out of meetings when he felt it was just a waste of time. Sometimes, as my journey has been a people pleaser, I would have stayed there for the hour, even though it was torture and a waste of time. I didn't have the courage to just say, hey, look, I got things to do, got to go and go. Because you have to build your life, not please everybody else, because that'll never get you anywhere. So being productive, if you can get more out of your day, you got 24 hours every single day. How do you manage it? Do you manage it with batching? Or do you manage it with reacting? Batching or reacting? Reacting is checking emails and first thing in the morning and then just running on a rabbit hole of problems for somebody else. Or getting on social media and all of a sudden 2 hours go by and you've watched 3,000 TikTok videos. And you go, what the heck did I learn? Nothing besides being entertained. You can do these things, but have a purpose of learning something. Like go into a social media time and say, what can I learn that I can apply to my business? So if you ask better questions, you get better results. So productivity is so much potential in how we manage and how we batch, how we take breaks. Like every 50 minutes, I try to take a 10-minute break, walk around, stretch, drink water, which reminds me, I got to drink my water. Now I track 8 glasses of 20-ounce waters. So I have to track it or I forget about it. I have to write it down and then go the thing, 4, and then to slide through it, 5. Because if I don't track it, if I don't measure it, I don't get that movement in whatever I'm doing. If I want to hydrate myself, life's busy. And we'll forget. And at the end of the day, you wonder why you're tired because you haven't hydrated. You forgot about drinking. And the last one is influence. Because AI is changing this world, your influence, your ability to communicate trust is going to be critical. Do you have influence over your significant other? Do you have influence over your family, kids, community, company, world? What kind of influence do you have? It doesn't magically happen. If you look at how to win friends and influence people, that's been a classic for 75 years. So if you're not working on it, that's why we do, and we give away, and I'm going to give you a gift at the end, where I want you to take advantage of learning the 5 high performance habits. Because if you learn these habits and keep getting better at them, the future is bright. Now, the other thing I want you to, besides win friends and influence people, is our strategy of being a key person of influence. Daniel Priestley. If you haven't heard about him, you haven't been really looking, because he's making it happen. Whether it's Brendan Burchard or Daniel Priestley, you put those two together. That's what we're doing with our thriving community. We're allowing our clients, our community, to understand the mindset of a global person. Because the world is global, you have to be intentional about 7-11-4. 7 hours, 11 buying signals, and 4 different platforms. You buy this book, it's a great one. Best business strategy book for having a global mindset that you can have. Put the 5 high performance habits together with key person of influence, and you're birthing a absolute superstar. If that's the analogy you want to use, or whatever. But in there, he talks about the 5 P's, and we have some videos on that: pitch, profile, product, presentation, and partnerships. That's in the book. 7-Eleven. 7 was made famous because here's what if you can understand this concept, everybody has a circle of 150. Those are people approximately that you know, like, and trust, that the brain can recognize. When my friend says something and then he's in my know, like, and trust, or she's in my know, like, and trust, I hear it. If you're outside of that, it goes right over your head. That's why you can pick a familiar person out of a crowd, because you know, like, and trust them. You're familiar with it. The brain knows that. I don't know if you've ever done something like somebody talks to you about buying a red Volkswagen. Then you see red Volkswagens all over the place because your brain is familiar with it. It recognizes it. I remember the day I was kind of like intrigued by Tesla and what they were doing. Man, seeing Teslas all over the place because my brain started to see them. And that's the same with people. You have to go on a journey of 7-11-4 with people, because if you can't get in there, know, like, and trust, the brain doesn't have a chance to click. And it's a digital transformation that we have to go through. The digital transformation is the global mindset of our community, what we teach people, how we help people. Because if you think your LinkedIn profile and your website is enough for people to get to know you, it isn't. Search my name, Pete Kane. Put the word podcast in there. It's my middle initial. and see what I have. Then search yourself and see what you have. Now, you're going to see a gap unless you're Daniel Priestley, and the gap will be the other way because he has so much content out there. But the gap, if you search my name and your name, will be your opportunity. And your opportunity is for a bright future. Embrace the 5 high-performance habits. Learn them, master them, go through. Let me see. Hold on here. Hold on, Nelly. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to put this up. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Dang, it's already in order. Here's your gift. The gift of learning. The gift that keeps on giving. Because if you give yourself the gift of learning, your future's bright. And if you go to, let me give you a place to go to. Hold on here, Nelly. I'm saying that. Okay. If you go to pkane.me/connect, you can scroll down the page and get our gift. This gift is, and if you look at this, I think I have, there we go. Here is the 12 sessions. High performance coaching is about this. It's the framework Brendon Bouchard's been doing for almost 20 years. It's why he charges $1 million for be coached by him. The A-list celebrities, everybody at the top that can afford that will hire him because he's the best. He has the biggest personal growth community in the world, Growth Day. And I'll show you that in just a second and give you an opportunity to try that and see if that's something you like. But here's the gift to you. My gift is the digital high performance habit course. So it's 12. We're going to cover first your vocal points. We have to get a baseline for you. Then we go into clarity, then energy, courage, productivity, and influence. Soon as you hit that 6th session, you finish that, magical things happen because we're going to invite you to a live group high performance coaching experience where you can be transformed, because life is not a solo thing. It's a team. Your business, it's a team sport. You got to build teams. So if you can be involved in 20 people, 10 business-minded adults, business leaders that have that mindset of being an person of influence, that wants to make an impact, that wants to practice the 5 high-performance habits, and you take 5 of our veterans, people that have lived and died for our country, people who can share with you the patriotic mindset, because the opportunity for you to understand that you're in the best country in the world that's going to promote freedom. And the sacrifices our veterans make for you and me, we want to give back to them. So we want them in our group. We want our 5 empowering leaders of tomorrow. For a brighter future, we have to pour into our youth. We have to help them develop those skills of high performance habits, because when the world turns upside down, like right away, like now, and you don't have life lessons like you and me, if you're of my age, 68, we've lived enough that we have frameworks of life. We've struggled, we've worked our way through it. We've have a way to deal with the adaptive change, the nature of life, the struggle, and to honor that struggle, because on the other end of struggle is our opportunity. We can't go through a mess to be able to appreciate the lessons that we learn. So together, we're better. In a thriving community, we want you to thrive. Now, if you want to go faster, which some do, and they have the resources, they can go through a strategy session and hire us to be your coach. We do twice a month, high performance coaching, and then we create content twice a month. So it's 1 hour twice a month. Then it's a half hour twice a month because we're creating your mindset, your global mindset, and we're coaching you one-on-one. That's what you have. You have that opportunity, but we want you to be part of a thriving community. We want you to speak at our live event. You don't have to be a client to speak, but speaking allows you to start training yourself to speak from a platform. If you're a person of influence, which I think you are, you're going to want to learn how to speak on a platform. You don't just magically fall out of the sky and become a good speaker. It takes reps, it takes fine tuning, it takes timing, it takes practice. Practice, and you will get better. If you're not willing to go through the awkward stage, which everybody does, but not everybody wants to go through, I did. I was all terrible. I was fearful of it years ago. Now I love it because I'm doing it enough that I'm getting better, a little bit better. Now I have to work on being brief. That's something I've worked on my whole life, and I will continue to be brief. But 5 minutes, 3 points. That's what our speakers cover. 5 minutes, 3 points. We do a virtual event on the third Friday. That's a replica. That's a warm up, a practice for the live event, which is on the fourth Saturday. So if you go to Connect, you'll see it. And so if you would like to speak, and I'd love to have you, but I want you on my podcast first. I want to see if you're a person of impact and if you'll add to our community. If you're a person that wants to give, wants to serve. We had 10 speakers at our last event, 2 from my Rotary, 2. And what was cool about Alicia and Kimberly is they both had a message of serving with their heart, serving their community, serving their team, serving themselves. Because you got to take care of yourself. If you're always taking care of others, it's kind of like when that oxygen mask falls off in a plane. They say put it on yourself first before you put it on a passenger, a child, or something. Because you have to breathe. You have to take care of yourself. And that's important, but they all spoke about that servant heart. And that's the kind of people we want in our community. We want that because it's a thriving community. And that's an opportunity. So go to pkane.me/connect. Woo, yeah, okay. So I told you about Growth Day, and I want to give you an opportunity. If you're like wanting to improve, wanting to be part of a growth community of thriving people, achieving highest level of personal success and success with others, try Growth Day for 7 days. Go to pkane.me/growth day. And then if you join, you get 7 days to have Brendan and a series of speakers speak into you. You can take the challenge. There's a clarity challenge. There's energy challenge. There's lots of challenges. I think there's 6 of them in there. Challenge yourself to grow. Challenge yourself. This is all free. You can get it in the 7 days. So you can activate and see what it's like to practice personal development on a daily basis. I've been using it for 2 years, and it's been the absolute best for me to experience a person of his caliber, Brendan Bouchard, speaking to me each day. A related video of a trainer, of a coach, of a gifted communicator, teacher speak to. Then it's 2 thought-provoking questions that allow me to challenge my thinking. Then I put my list together. So I know the path for that day. Is it always perfect? No, but life isn't perfect. But you got to work on yourself. And when you do that, my first course, which I have to give my my partner, Jeff Bourgeois, credit because he has an AI agency up in Canada. You can find him online. He has a wonderful community of people, big thinkers. But in this, he kept telling me to start leaning into AI. Excuse me. And I kept telling him I'm busy. And he kept pushing. Finally, I did it. I said, well, you know what? I got to create a course. This was a couple of years ago. So I started with mindset, goals, and habits. And I put I want it to do this, and I want it to be a key person of influence philosophy. And so I put that in there, and it spat out the most amazing framework. I felt almost, if I could have, I would have fallen on the floor because it was so amazing how quick. It would take me 6 months to a year to do that because that's not my skill set. But then I prompted it a little bit more and then started creating the audio and video around that framework. And that's my course. So I want to give that to you. Send a support at petekane.me and that's yours for free. And let me just tell you, when you do that, there's another gift coming. But it's a surprise because we love surprises. And I want to keep giving to you learning. So, yes. All right. Let me see. What else do we need to talk about? Join, if you're like out there and you're not clear about where you're going, you don't have clarity in your life yet, you don't have the energy level yet, or you're not as courageous as you want to be yet, you're not as productive yet, and you don't have the influence you want yet, schedule a strategy session. That'll allow you to spend an hour with me, and I'll take you through a series of things to challenge your thinking, get you clear on what you want. Then you can decide what you want to do with that. Because once you know what's possible, it's kind of like when you stretch, very seldom do you go back. You want to keep learning, keep growing, keep practicing personal growth. And that's the opportunity for you because we're going to keep giving to you. We're going to keep helping you grow. And you can be a part of our community. Go to that first one I said, schedule a strategy session. Just put SS after petekane.me, and then you can schedule it. I have several a week, and you can schedule. It'll last an hour and 10 minutes. But it'll be the best time you've ever spent focusing on you and your future. Because the future is bright for those that activate it. And we want to activate your bright future. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun. Oops. Be bold, make an